Good morning, traders. So, still using the Bull Williams and looking at the Dow Jones. So, finally, we've had a breakout on the daily, and that's quite a convincing breakout. So, now the trick for the next move is ideally we want to see a bit of a pullback, come and test this break, and then get going with the continuation of this move. Now, the continuation is pretty much this measured move. Okay, so long term, I'm looking for longs. So basically, what it's looking like is that next month is going to be another green candle. Now, if we look at the monthly, we've got 1 day left in the month. That is a pretty solid inside bar, and it comes up to challenge the previous highs. Okay, now that would make sense to me. Would be a third time that we're going to try and challenge these highs, and then let's see if we break through. We have a bigger sort of range that we've got here, or if we bounce off there and move back the downside. So just have a look at the weekly as well. You can see the weekly is coming up to the alligator, and we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. But at this stage, what it's looking like is a continuation. Okay, so let's get down to levels we can trade today. So yeah, so after a week of frustration and confusion and indecision, we finally broke through. So that was pretty much the Feds that drove us up last night, leaving the rates unchanged. We'll have to wait for the minutes to see exactly what else they're saying, but that was the result of that. And I see there's still no negative news on the trade war discussions, apart from the fact that they are talking. So anything's possible there. Tomorrow we have the jobs numbers. Well, we've got two sets of jobs numbers. We've got the unemployment job numbers today, and then tomorrow we've got the non-farm payroll numbers. So quite a bit of data coming out in the next 2 days. It's going to assist this market. But anyway, so looking at the 4 hour, you can see we sort of bounced off this level here. We need to look to the left to see why. Nothing really. We just touched the top of this pin bar. You can argue that we came in off this inside tail here. Okay, so there are a couple of areas that we need to pay attention to. There's the first one. Okay, and then obviously there's the next one, and there's the next one. So you can see all I'm doing is lining it up with the inside tails, and then there's another inside tail, and there's an inside tail. Okay, so you can see we've got a few areas that we can focus on going to the upside here. Yeah, let's get down to the 1 hour. The thing is, this last candle here was a news candle. Could also be seen as an exhaustion bar on the hour, especially since we sold off and now we're coming up to challenge it again. But the trend is up. Now what you're looking for is to trade with this current trend, and you're looking for longs. Okay. Now, if you are long, no reason to get out. Okay, I stayed way out of this. Yesterday, I didn't even bother looking at it. And now I can see that there are better setups for me anyway. So just coming down to the half hour, you can see a bit of indecision onto the alligator and then still moving up. Okay, I suppose early this morning would have been a nice entry long. You can see there's the oscillator on the alligator leading to the upside. Okay, so the same drill as normal. Wait for the European Open to see what Europe's going to do, and then take this. Then look for the long. Okay, now I just want to pop across to the ichimoku, and specifically on the daily, because everything else is fine. We are far from Kijinsen and Tikinsen on the 4 hour, which is a bit of a worry. We'd like to see price come back. So obviously, coming back would mean, to me, at least come back and test this level. Okay, but it's the daily that I'm interested in, because if you look at what's happened now, we have broken through the cloud pretty strongly. We've got a twist here, and Chikuspan has broken through Price, Kijinsen, and Tikinson. So this is a setup for a long-term bullish move. Okay, now ideally, obviously, I want to see a pullback, but this pullback may only happen much later. So it may just sort of meander gently sideways to upwards like this, meet up with the cloud, pull back, test the cloud, and then move up. Or we could have a serious pullback all the way down to the bottom here, which is possible. Let's not pretend that it's not possible. Okay, but because the longer term trend on the monthly is still technically up, you can see Kijinsen and Stegensen are still apart, and we're sort of bounced off Kijinsen. My bias is pretty firmly that we're going to continue this move to the upside. Okay, and I think there's just something that we're missing. So let me just go back here. Go. And what we're missing is this trend line. So there's the first one, which we've broken through, and that is the original trend. First touch, second touch. Okay, so that trend has been broken. Some people would see a potential head and shoulders forming here, shoulder, head, looking for another shoulder. I prefer to see it on a straight line, so you could argue that that's shoulder, head, shoulder, but regardless of that, we've broken a downward trend line. On the daily, we have a daily close above it. The next one that should be coming up would technically be that level there. Now, if I just go to the 4 hour and just look for a level, more than likely that set of inside bars there. Okay, so that's the one area, and then the next one is probably going to be something like that, and then something like that. Okay, so I'm taking it off that tail, and these bottoms here. And we'll have a bit of congestion together with the next downward trend line. So that's our next target, as far as I'm concerned. So we can come down to the 30-minute, 12-minute, doesn't really matter. Wait for European Open to see what happens. Hopefully a bit of a consolidation, pullback, oscillators lining up to the downside. Then it's long again, and we are long. I suppose you could argue you can go long from there with a stop, 64-point stop loss. But I think what's going to happen is we should hit this previous high of yesterday and then bounce off that, and that's probably the area that you want to look for. You're long. But there is another 200-point move possibly today, I would say, to the upside. Okay, so let's just quickly summarize that. So essentially what we're looking for is a continuation long. I would prefer the oscillators lining up the downside and for us to get a position in a bit lower. Okay, whether that's going to happen or not is another story. So we are at a level there, that's an inside bar. So I'd like to see us either challenge a previous high, then fall off, come back, form base, and then allow us to get longer, or get long again. Or alternatively come back and test this bottom area, this breakout level here, for another long. Okay, so trade with the trend, it's longs we're looking for. But what we really want is don't want to climb in long up there with big 100-point stop losses at this stage. We want to see either a pullback or the oscillator just starting to move the downsides on the 12 or even preferably the 30-minute, just to indicate that we've got a better opportunity to get long. Okay, that's kind of my view of this at the moment. Wait for Europe and then take the trade. Okay, so yep, long it is, just looking for a better entry, and we want it to come. We want a pullback of sorts. If we don't get the pullback, then what you're going to look for is just get long on the fractional break and then pull your stop loss to below the previous fractional. And that should minimize your risk enough if you anticipate this thing continuing in the morning session. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and whatever you do, stay safe, keep those stops really tight, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.